job government. They won their majority illegitimately, we know. Some of these ridings in NDP and Liberal ridings were only won by Conservatives by 10 to 20 votes. We have a clear systemic attack on Canadians' right to vote in Canada. And we're having a rally for democracy on March the 11th, 2:30 p.m. at Dundas Square. People are starting to rise up and say, you know what? It's time we take back our country. Not only on March the 11th are we going to be here, we're going to Parliament Hill to Ottawa on May the 5th. We're going right to the Hill. Right now, currently, they're spending $9 million for barricades to keep Canadians out of their democracy. $9 million to build fences. Just like they built fences here in the city of Toronto during G20. These are the same people that passed illegal laws. The Public Works Protection Act was initially passed in 1939. It was passed against Nazi sabotage, and they used that law on Canadians in 2010. We had the largest mass arrest in Canadian history. We had violations of our charter rights, our Canadian Constitution. We had illegal searches happen. And we didn't get our public inquiry for the G20 when all those officers were engaged in attacks on Canadian citizens, removing their badges. They were caught, removing their name badges, beating on Canadian citizens. And we have the right to protest. We have the right to speak out. That's what is the fundamental fabric of a society, of a democracy. And they attack that at the G20. And right now, they're attacking our voting process. You know, they stole our votes. It's an illegitimate government that we're living under. Stephen Harper's closest advisors were caught for fraud 5 times. You can Google Bruce Carson, caught for fraud not only twice, not 3 times, 5 times. It's his closest advisor. So we know they engaged in election fraud in 2006 in the In-N-Out scandal. They were caught doing election fraud and they were only fined $55,000. Here we have 31,000 complaints to Election Canada across the country. We have 57 ridings that were suspected of illegally taking away Canadians' rights to vote. They said, welcome, this is Elections Canada. Your voting station has moved. And those people took buses, they took cars, they took taxis, and they didn't get their right to vote. Imagine if you were that person and you were told misinformation. They took your right to vote away from you. And that's why we're here. We're standing up for all Canadians across this great country. We got to keep Canada great. And we got to get rid of this criminal con job government. It's very important, folks. Probably the most important thing we'll ever do in Canadian history right now. Because we have a really good chance to engage the citizenry, to give them the factual information, and to take back this government. We don't need any more robocalls under this con job government. They were caught in 2006 with election fraud. Stephen Harper's closest advisors were caught for fraud. He put 2 and 2 together. They are big-time fraudsters. Stephen Harper is not our Prime Minister. Stephen Harper is our Crime Minister. That's what he is. Not the PM, the CM. Prime Minister means Crime Minister right now in Canada, folks. Engaging in election fraud, suppression of votes.